been 2 years since we last watched this show, but Love Live Superstar is back with its unprecedented third season. A third season in a Love Live. Who could have thunk it?
I didn't think it was possible until it was possible.
Yeah. No movie yet. We get another season.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably a movie after this, I would assume. Unless they're
Probably.
like, how about a fourth season?
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah. So yeah, we're back. This is season 3 of Love Live Superstar. And we're off to the races here, of course. So hello, welcome back to Jared and Al Watch Love Live Superstar. This is episode number 25. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady M.
Hello.
We are watching season 3, episode 1, entitled "The Path I've Chosen." Not you or me, but obviously Kanan has chosen a path. Yes. Basically, we get a recap of the first 2 seasons as we kick this episode off, and then we get a continuation of the cliffhanger from the end of season 2, where
Vienna.
Yeah, Wien's like, hey, we're staying here. We ain't going overseas and studying abroad. Sorry, that ain't happening.
Oh boy.
So they go and find out exactly what's going on here, and they find out, Wien's parents decide, hey, you suck at singing because you lost Love Live, and you need to study under the people who won Love Live, and so we can't make you go abroad. Also, Kanan, she's going to study under you because you won Love Live. This is your fault for winning, so you don't get to go overseas either because you have to stay here and teach her.
It's like, so contrived.
What? Excuse me?
It makes no sense. Like, who are they to be able to decide whether or not she can go abroad or not?
Also, why can't Kanan just be like, I don't want to do this.
Right,
I'm gonna go abroad. See y'all later.
I've already made plans to study abroad, and I've already told everybody goodbye, and I've already packed, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you're just like, no. Like, no, just go. What is wrong with you?
Plus, I would assume they would also like not do this at the very last minute and be like, sorry, revoked.
Yeah, it's their reasoning here is really terrible.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's very weird that they're trying to like gaslight us that like Wien needs to be taught singing. Like, bro.
Right.
She could have won Love Live. She probably should have won Love Live. Let's be real.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you suck. Which, I mean, obviously, it's probably like her parents are just and just like, oh, you lost, so you need to get better because you're a scrub because you lost. We don't tolerate losers in this household.
Right. It's very, very strange because like she very obviously is talented at singing. And like they even prove that later in the episode.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you want to hear her sing again? And they're like, no, she sucks. She's bad at singing. It's like, huh?
I feel like the thing would be more interesting if they were like going at this from the angle of like, well, she is a solo artist and she's going up against a group, and how does that make that different in terms of the way audiences perceive them?
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely go about it in a very peculiar way, let's say.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, and it just kind of felt like, I don't know, we're trying to come up with an excuse to keep them here, so here we are.
Yeah.
It's like you could have found something to make this make more sense than what you gave us.
Yeah.
You didn't.
So yeah, that happens, and then Kanan's like, oh god, everyone thinks I'm gone. I said goodbye to everyone, and oh god, I gotta go back and be like, oh hey, what's up everyone, I'm back. Just kidding. JK LOL. So we get a lot of shots of her just like hiding from everyone because she hasn't told them that she's not leaving, but she's also like spying on them to see how they're doing and everything.
Right. She hears them say all these nice things about her like during the practice session. So she's like, well, now I really can't tell them anything because
I can't walk in on this.
They were being sweet about me.
But yeah, the rest of Liel is just like, yeah, we gotta get back to training. We gotta, we're defending our championship, so we gotta get back at it. And we are down a person, so we gotta work harder than before to accomplish that. Which I think is if there's gonna be one thing that's interesting throughout this season is like, they are tackling the idea of like, all right, here is a defending champion. They are pretty much still all together compared to most of the groups we've seen in this franchise before. Like usually if like, they win, they lose a significant amount of people. Here they've only lost Kanan, and they have their pretty much their core group together. Can they go back and repeat as champions?
Right.
So I think that will be an interesting thing to look at and see how they do. Obviously, we know they're going to get new members at some point, and that's how the story is going to unfold. But yeah, I think that'll be an interesting plot point to see throughout here. But yeah.
That's the one thing we highlighted, like when the last season ended, is, how does this go in terms of defending or losing?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Kanan's just hiding a lot in this episode. And then the gals see that Wien has just like put up a sign that's like, New School Idol Club recruiting, and they're like, wait, what, huh? What? She's supposed to be gone, and then she shows up in front of them just like, that's right, I'm making a new club. They're like, are you supposed to be gone? And they're like, well, about that, I'm here now.
Yep.
New club, rivals. I do like the idea that they're like, oh, why don't we just join together? We're both doing the same thing. And Wien's whole thing is that she is fueled by spite and pettiness. And it's just like, y'all beat me. I'm not going to join you after that. I have to beat you in order to prove myself and prove that I'm good enough and everything. And like show that I know what I'm doing. And, I know I can do it. So I have to, put these results out into the universe. Like, yeah. Love a good character just fueled by spite.
We do love that, yes. I think that part is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It also does feel kind of like, hey, we're kind of stealing ideas from Niji.
Yeah, but I think the way they're going about it in this is different enough, obviously, with who she's going to recruit.
Yeah.
Because obviously in the All-Star story, they did not get or I guess you should say, Lonju's group did not get a big name in the way that Wien is about to get.
Right. That is correct.
So I think that they're at least doing it a little bit different in that respect. This is like you said, this is kind of a retread of the All-Star story where you have two competing idol clubs in the same school and everything, and one of them's just like taking this villainous role at the beginning. So I'm very much hoping to see that everyone who is very angry and spiteful about the All-Star story brings the same energy to Superstar when with Wien doing the same thing, obviously. So
Right.
gotta keep up appearances, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, it is like you said, it is kind of just, hey, we are doing the All-Star story again, which I guess they can technically do. I mean, in the Niji anime, they didn't really go into that aspect of it, so
right, definitely not to the extent that the game did.
No,
the game was very good.
Well, the game's dead now, so they can just steal from it, wholeheartedly. No,
that's fair. I'm sad all the time.
I get it.
So sad.
So yeah, Kanan has to run home and gets under the covers in her uniform, as you do when you're just like having a day and you're cold. And then she gets a bunch of messages from Chisato. Is like, hey, hope you're doing well and everything. And then I guess she could text her back. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm back. BT dubs. What's up?
BT dubs.
Because we get another day of just them training, and then Kanan's in the shadows, just, and then she meets up with Chisato afterwards and is like, hey, here's exactly what's going down. It's real weird. Like, they want me to like teach her how to sing? That sounds just ridiculous, but I don't know. He's like, are you coming back to Liel? He's like, maybe, I don't know. And then they part ways. She's in her big hoodie that's drowning her, as you said. And then we see Wien just singing in a little, I don't know, amphitheater, essentially. Singing her song Butterfly Wing. And then there's like people's like, oh, there's that girl again. I gotta go. It's like,
Gotta go.
what? What do you, what?
And then Kanan's just quietly clapping behind a staircase. Golf clap.
Good job.
But I can't let you know that I'm clapping for you.
Yeah. And then we get to the first day of the new school year. This is the third year, so the original Liella members are third years now. The new members from last season are second years, and then there's a whole crop of first years coming in and to the school and everything and all that sort of stuff. This is where Kanan makes her debut to everyone. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm back. How's it going? They're like, huh? And everyone's very excited. It's like, oh, you're back. We're gonna be the gang's all back together. The band's back together.
Woo!
We're going to go right back to Love Live. We're gonna win again, back to back. Let's hear it. Let's go. Let's do it. And Con's like,
About that.
about that. I'm not coming back. So there's that. See you later.
Bye.
They do an opening ceremony. A lot of people look at Kanan and they're like, oh, you were supposed to be gone and now you're back, I guess. Okay.
Yay, we're happy you're back.
Everyone's given wants autographs from the members of Liella. And then Kanan weaves her way through everyone, grabs a club application form, puts her name on it, and then goes to Wien, who's just like, School Idol Club. Please join.
Please join.
It's just the most unenthusiastic way to recruit people. She rolls up to her, is like, hey, I got an application here for you. I'm going to join you.
She's like, huh?
So there's
What do
that.
you mean? She's like, my application. I put my name on it. It's like, congratulations, Kanan. You can write your name.
Yay.
Yay.
That's how we end the episode. Then we get a post-credit scene where the other new character, Tomari, I guess this is the new character, Tomari, because Wien's obviously been established. Tomari is going to be one of the new characters introduced in the season. She is Natsumi's sister, which we don't know that in the series, but we know that because we have followed along with stuff. She rolls up to Kanan, and Wien is like, hey, what's up? School Idol Club.
School Idol Club.
I understand.
I understand.
And I guess that means she's joining up with this crew.
That seems right, because you have to have 3 people to make a club.
And now we got 3 people.
Mm-hmm. I know that because I've watched Love Live before.
So yeah, that's this episode. We got a few notes here. The NHKE broadcast exclusive end card is of Wien and Tomari, of course.
Makes sense.
And then the episode's post-intro sequence continues after the ending of the second season's final episode, which we talked about. And Arya, Kanan's sister, reveals that she enrolled into another high school because she is going to go do her own thing. I remember definitely a lot of people at the end of last season were like, "Oh, she's going to join Liella." It's like they're like, "Nah, you're going to another school."
Yeah, I mean,
you have to get away from that owl painting in your cafe.
that owl painting is wild. It's wild. Yeah, it would have made sense, I think, to have her join, but at the same time, like, yeah, let her do whatever she wants to do. It's fine.
Yeah. We got the new opening and ending this episode. They didn't hide either of those. The new opening theme, Let's Be One, and ending theme, Daisuke Full Power. Interesting outfits in the opening, as we mentioned. There's little weird hats, weird skirts.
They look like dinner plates.
Dinner plate hats. Both songs seem fine. Obviously, it's just first listen, so I don't really have much of an opinion at the moment. But they seem fine. No complaints so far.
They're fine. They don't like stick out as something I'm like, man, I would listen to that all the time. Like the they give season 1 closer. Like that was a banger of a song.
Well, you also had the ability to like play these songs in video games to really get to know them better.
Get attached to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that helped as well.
Yeah. Guess what? I can't do that anymore.
No.
So now I just have to listen to it anytime I watch an episode and see how I feel.
True. And then also they had a new version of Butterfly Wing, which is like a piano version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing for the television broadcast is there was a new Wien song as well that they aired called Dolce.
Dolce. We didn't get that.
I'm sure that's good.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
I heard she's a bad singer, so I don't
Yeah, she
know.
can't sing, so, you know.
So yeah, that's the season 3 premiere. What are your thoughts going into the season now that we've established what's going on here?
I still think that their reasoning for like why they stayed behind is ridiculous. Like there has to have been a better way to do that.
Yeah.
So that feels silly. And as we talked about last time, like the big thing we want to know is like how is this going to go down with like do they defend or do they lose this time? How does that go? So like that's obviously going to be the big question that comes up throughout this season. And we know that they're going to combine at some point. So
Yeah.
what's going to lead to the combining? Does
Hmm.
does Wien finally decide she can sing? Like what happens here? I mean, it wasn't a like it wasn't an episode that like really caught me like some of the other ones. Like I wasn't blown away by it, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I do think the idea of like Kanan joining Wien is interesting because
Hmm.
we haven't seen a leader character defect essentially.
Right.
So I think that's an interesting conundrum, and like how will obviously because the way her and Wien operate, and Wien just the vitriol she has for Kanan at points, especially with the way she said senpai in this episode at the beginning, which is
Oh man,
very good. Like
there was some venom to that.
yeah, like how is that dynamic going to work? Like and like I think I like the idea of like Kanan coming into this and like almost like a coach role essentially to like help her out and like kind of elevate Wien into a different level. Even though you got to obviously argue Wien probably doesn't need this, but you know, hey,
Hey,
if you can get help from a previous Love Live winner who's obviously coming over from that group to join you and help you out, like you take that.
yeah, you take
You
that.
take that.
You take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah, so like I think that's going to be interesting, and just to see how these two work together, and like what their dynamic is, and how they are going to go up against the rest of Liella in terms of like being rivals for the moment, I guess, until
Hmm.
eventually they probably will, like I said, reunite, and we'll have this 11 member version of Liella at some
Right.
point. And then I guess as well, like how is Tomari going to integrate into those two as well? Like we don't really know much about her because like obviously, this is her anime debut, and we don't have a lot of information about her character out there, especially because like she was in School Idol Festival too, but like that game didn't have like story stuff, so I don't
And
know
it
how she
died.
has, and it's dead now, so like we'll have to see in terms of that aspect. But yeah, I'm very curious to see the Kanan Wien dynamic here in terms of them being in their own separate School Idol club, and like how this works.
Yeah, it is interesting. Also kind of wild that like it seems like Chisato's kind of taken over the other group.
Well, she is the president of the club,
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying like
but yeah, she is kind of
she's
like slotted into that like leader role.
yeah.
Like her and Cuckoo were kind of like the top dogs. It seemed like
Which I mean it makes sense because
Mhm.
like, you know,
they're like the
they
longest tenured.
yes,
So
they're OGs if you
yeah,
will. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see like how is she gonna be as the leader?
yeah,
Because as they mentioned in this episode, like they really relied on Kanan a lot.
hmm
Um, and I mean that was even a critique that I had of the second season is that like Kanan was kind of the savior of every issue that came up, and they didn't really let any other character breathe a whole lot.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see like how do they deal with things without her? Can they deal with things without her?
yeah. So yeah, I think I'm more optimistic going into this season than I was like previous seasons, or at least just like more interested in or intrigued, I should say, in terms of what they're setting out to do here. And hey, they seem to be doing the thing we wanted them to do in like original Love Live.
Yeah,
So that's
That's true.
interesting. So
that's true. I
Ho-
agree.
hopefully they do this a little bit better than they did it in that series. So
Can't do it worse, can you? All right.
they could
Well,
try.
they can try. You're right. You're right. I shouldn't.
They could certainly try. But yeah,
I shouldn't
that's
say things like that because they definitely could do it.
yeah. But yeah, that's the season 3 premiere of Love Live Superstar. Next time we will be discussing season 3 episode number 2 entitled Tomo Kanote, which for now I guess will be their trio name.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll see
I
how
was, I wasn't sure what that meant, but now I get it.
we'll see how this trio works out in their budding days as a second school idol club.
Woo!
But that's going to do it for us this week. If you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sec.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can follow us on Blue Sky seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. So join us next time as we see how the new school idol club gets underway.
Mm-hmm.